Alright, I just want to show off my build here a bit. I've got a T10 Belfry map. Just gonna chisel it up a little, because I only have T11s right now, so try to get what I can. The good thing about this build is you can pretty much run whatever, literally just allocate and go for the most part. Fizz Reflect kind of sucks for your minions. Life regen, no life regen, and recovery is kind of shit too, but it's all good. I can still run it. I've been playing this build for the start of the league. Basically the idea was to make a standard like summoner build and try to make use of Null's Inclination. I've been wanting to make a build with this for a long time, and finally got to make use of it now with some of these new nodes. I'd made one before a long ass time ago and it was really not good, so it's nice to actually have it be viable. It actually turned out significantly better than I anticipated. The idea was going to be just a standard specters, well, skeleton specters based summoner. So, that's what I started running. I actually ran with zombies quite a bit, like as the main focus of the build, and that worked out pretty well, but as I got higher and higher in the maps, they started being really, really squishy. Granted, I didn't put minion res and life and shit like that in my links, which I probably should have, but as I was relying on them more for damage, it felt kind of a waste. And I actually really like the skeleton and specters, the way they work. I was originally going to run Solar Guards, but I decided to go with Katava Herald because they are fucking awesome, basically. You just jump in and murder everything with fucking multi-strike. There's a lot of different things that can be done with this build, I think. So I have a lot of experimenting to do still. But considering I'm up to level 90 right now with this, it's feeling pretty good. I would like to get to the higher tier stuff, but just have had pretty bad luck with maps thus far. So boss time. I was really worried about single target, but that's what Vault Summon Skeletons is for. You also see some animated weapons. I'll explain that here shortly. Vault Summon Skeletons just destroys bosses. I probably shouldn't have used it for the first phase, but oh well. Tux Drain, crazy single target, it's pretty awesome. Mana is a little bit of an issue when I get to just stand and spam, but my gems just hit max level and I brought them up to 20 quals, so I'm re-leveling a lot of my gems right now. 14 raise Spectre, 16 raise Zombie, so we're not even high level yet, but that was Belfry boss. He gets destroyed pretty easily. I'm gonna clean the rest of this map up real quick. I'm experimenting with my flasks too right now. I don't know if this is the best scenario or setup by any means. I grabbed Rumi's because it's generally pretty good on Summoner. I can actually make use of the Atziri's Promise due to my setup. Alright, so let's take a look at the skill tree. Starting off as a Necromancer, obviously. So we go up and get all the minion stuff. I've got 198% life in the tree, so come over and get life. I decided to pick up the mana regen here for 2 points. It's pretty good. It's a lot of mana regen. I think I'm up to like 55 or something, 51, which is pretty good when my Toxic Rain only costs 30. Life, pretty standard summoner build. Just get all the minion damage stuff, minion life stuff, all of these new nodes. Here's the key things that make this really good now. Spiritual commands to give attack speed to us, and spiritual aid gives minion damage to us as well, which is really good. Besides that, pick up Sovereignty for my Herald and Aura setup, which I'll explain here in a second. Besides that, it's all standard, just life. Jewel-wise, careful planning is 100% necessary. You need at least one, as far as I can tell, unless you can somehow stack way more decks on gear. So put either one here or one here, and you'll be good. You need 212 decks minimum to be able to equip Null's Inclination, so that's what we're shooting for. Preferably more, but I got the careful planning here and an agility node here. I might put in another careful planning here and get rid of this, that way we get a little bit more decks anyway, but you need to play around with that still. Besides that, for jewels, a From Dust is pretty helpful to summon the extra skeletons. It's not necessary, but I'm trying it for now, see how it feels. And other than that, we get some Taunt and Blind minion jewels, pretty solid. Flat damage is good. The jewels that have the minion damage, where's it at? The minion damage on an ability use do not work with Null's Inclination. I tested that, I wasn't sure, so this is a pretty good jewel too here. That attack and cast speed will be given to you, so I can't find any of those jewels right now. I had one, but I think I got rid of it. But the damage doesn't transfer to you, so... Oh, here's my other jewel. So you need, with the auras that I'm running, you need at least 12%, or 12% mana reserve reduction. So 6, 10, 14 covers it. We have 109 mana left. It's pretty solid. Costs 94 to use a zombie right now. Sometimes I'll just turn off a herald, get the zombie. Get zombies easier. Not a big deal. Ascendancy wise, I'm running Commander of Darkness, Invoker, Bone Sculptor, and Soul Weaver. When I was running zombies, I had Fleshbinder, and I was running 2 of the Slam Jewels here and here. And that was pretty solid as well, but like I said, the zombies were dying really easily at higher tiers, so I wanted to swap out of that and just go to something that I knew worked. I would like to try Mistress of Sacrifice out because the offerings benefiting you would be huge in this build since we are hybrid. So something to try. Might give that a shot. Probably might try to get rid of Commander of Darkness and see how it feels, but then gonna be having trouble with resistance stuff, so I don't know, we'll see. Pantheon wise, I'm running Brine King and Ralakash. It's really preference and based on what content you're doing. I don't know, can figure out what you like. I was thinking about running Lunaris as well as Garricon. They're all pretty good. Gear-wise, Null's Inclination is a must. So the main thing is triggering socketed minion spells on kill. So this actually works with Toxic Rain's Spore Pods. So these Spore Explosions, it used to not work off of Caustic Arrow or dots in general, but for whatever reason, it is rocking off of this pretty good. So the minions dealing extra damage based on dex is just a huge bonus, like huge bonus, because that also buffs our damage too now. So running that, just get a standard bone helmet. This one is pretty nice. Would like to have some resist, but it's all good. Life resist neck with some flat damage, trying to get some flat damage to add to my damage. Life resist rings. You need a lot of dexterity on gear, so get dex where you can. Life resist ring. I would like another unset ring because we're strapped for fucking sockets in this build pretty heavily. I'm just running a Belly of the Beast right now. Seems good. 6400 life. Life res belt. This belt is actually not that good. Ideally you want a Stygian Vice with all the above. My gloves. Here's one of the important things. These gloves I got to drop. They're eldered and they're pretty damn good, but this is where I'm putting my Toxic Rain in. Initially I was putting like my Castle Damage Taken setup in here, and then I was running a 5-link helmet, pseudo 5-link helmet, this one, for an extra socket on my Spectres or Zombies or whatever. But Bone Helmet is awesome because the minions deal 38% increased damage implicit, works for us as well. So very highly recommend. But then I was able to 6-link my Toxic Rain, pseudo 6-link Toxic Rain due to these gloves. So something like this isn't necessary, but it's a huge benefit for sure. Like faster attacks is not necessary, but we do need poison. The poison is super necessary, and I'll explain why in a second. Boots. I crafted these boots in 2 attempts with the Delve crafting mechanic. So these are insane for Spectres. You can always use Bones of Uller. Where's Bones of Uller? Right here. These work just as well. They're just not as good overall, but this craft was pretty simple. Just buy whatever base you want. I wanted fire and cold res because I was strapped for res, so I took that base and I just use I need one of the 3-socket resonators. I only have 1s and 2s right now. Use this Abhorrent Fossil. The mods that rolls on boots, you don't need to use this Abhorrent Fossil. I was trying to get 50% chance to not be bled on boots, and that didn't proc, but that's okay. Where are the other ones that I used? Abhorrent? Wait, not that one. I don't have any of the ones that I used yet. There's a fossil that's for minions, which gives the +1 maximum number of Spectres on boots, or can. They're not guaranteed. And then I used the life one, whichever the life fossil is. Those two are the main ones, but if you use those, you can get really solid bear boots like this pretty easily. So, and then flasks, Edzir's Promise, just for give us a little bit of leech since we're lacking that, and Roomies, just for some block. Experimenter's Quicksilver of Adrenaline, really good, move speed. And I'm just running a Stib Knight for now. I might put another Life Flask in. I don't really like this Life Flask, but that's what I got for now. My quiver is really bad. Ideally we want an additional arrow quiver, that way we can get an extra Spore Pod from Toxic Rain. As far as the actual links go, so the bulk of our, well, it's actually a huge combo. So we're using Raise Zombie, with Race Spectre in our chess piece for now. So we can link Melee Fizz, Ruthless, and Multi-Strike. You can use Melee Splash if you feel like it's necessary. I don't really think it's necessary, but those are good for single target. The sixth link I'm going to put in here is probably going to be minion damage. Once I can six link it. And then for my skeletons, I'm running Volsum Skeleton, minion damage, added Chaos currently, and Melee Fizz. I'm probably going to get rid of added Chaos. Once I can get my new bow socketed, I'm going to do Ruthless and Multi-Strike. Now, for nulls, it's pretty important to run. I want a 5-link skeleton for the nulls, right? So I can still cast Flesh Offering from the bow, because right now, when I kill mobs, it's summoning me 5 skeletons, and it's proccing Flesh Offering, so, which is really good. Fucking attack buff. I have Animate Weapon in here right now as well, just because it happens to be where my sockets landed. Once I can afford to fix this up, it'll be a 5-link summon skeleton with summon skeleton, minion damage, Melee Fizz, Ruthless, Multi-Strike, and then Flesh Offering on its own link. So yeah. Same thing with these. As for my res, the reason why I have so much res and why we needed the reduction over here is because I'm running Herald of Purity. This is solely for just the spawning of the Sentinels, right? Part of my idea when I made the build was I wanted to run both the new Heralds to try to get as much minion bullshit as possible. So Herald of Purity and Herald of Agony. And Agony, the Agony Crawler is actually insane when you can keep stacking poisons. And Toxic Rain does an extremely good job of that, even on single target, because every pop stacks poison, so as far as I can tell. So it's pretty often that I'll be sitting at 20 plus stacks, depending. A lot of times if mobs die too quickly, the poison, like the pods can't even burst, and so the poison can't stack. But that thing gets strong really fast. And then I'm running Hatred as well, just for the damage buff for all my minions, and some for me as well, but mostly for the minions. I have Blink Arrow and Phase Run. I did have Blink Arrow with faster attacks, but I need Phase Run. Phase Run is so good now when you can pop it instantly. I highly recommend that, especially for delves. Getting stuck in mobs kind of sucks. And then a level 1 Clarity just for a little bit of mana regen. And I was using it for Command of Darkness, but I'm running Hatred now as well. I was going to put Hatred on Generosity, that's why I needed Clarity, but don't have links for that, so I'm still running the Hatred anyway, or the Clarity anyway. And it keeps my mana topped off pretty well, like, so it's pretty solid. And then in my helmet I'm running Castle and Damage Taken, Convocation, so this will pull all my minions to me when I take damage. It's kind of annoying on boss fights sometimes, but for mapping it's really, really good. It helps a lot. Immortal Call, Increased Duration, all pretty solid. I would like to get Increased Duration on Phase Run, but again, don't have the links. And then the Toxic Rain is run with Swift Affliction. Technically, I believe Void Manipulation is more damage, but the 15% reduced duration of supported skills and damaging ailments, it makes the pods burst in 0.15 seconds faster, from what I can tell. So I'm running that. It feels good. Vicious Projectiles, super good, and Decay, just to help with boss damage more or less, and like single target stuff. Otherwise, if I did not have Poison on these gloves, I would probably replace Decay with Poison, because we need the Poison in order to be able to stack for the Agony Crawler, to make the Agony Crawler really good. So there's that. And then in my secondary set I just have leveling gems mostly, but I have a Desecrate over here for spawning stuff. What I want to do eventually is try out this Voltaic Rift. 6 link of Voltaxic for single target, and that way I can hardcast skeletons on bosses if need be. This is only going to be if I need boss damage, right? But so that way I can shock stuff and have 6 link skeletons that I can cast rather than relying on the bow to proc them. But for now, it's really good map clear, feels good. As for bandits, I killed them all, got the 2 skill points, so that's that. Some other stuff to try out was something like this to increase the poison on hit chance. It's kind of nice, get a 100% chance, makes it really good, but I don't feel like it's necessary. I already have like 80% chance to poison or something ridiculous with Toxic Rain, so yeah. A minion damage helm, stuff like that, pretty good. The zombie slam jewels, also pretty good. I was thinking about running Darkscorn even, just for more, just on my Toxic Rain. The Lion's Eye, I think, would be pretty solid too. Other than that, just a good, really good crafted bow. Soul's Wick Spectres in the bow actually was a thought as well. And while it works, it's really random because obviously all the specters that you get won't benefit from the same support gems. So sometimes you get good specters, sometimes you get bad specters, but it's a really interesting take on it. Speaker's Wreath is also really good to try. You get that crazy attack speed and move speed buff for yourself as well as your minions, and your minions can't kill stuff if they're not ignited. So as long as you're not igniting, then you're going to get all the kills with Toxic Rain. However, as you saw in the playthrough video, like playthrough of the map earlier, I get plenty of kills as it is, I feel like, so I don't feel like it's necessary. I feel like a bone helmet just serves me better. So yeah, crafting some stuff, definitely craft boots for sure. There's some other things that I want to try out too. I can't remember any off the top of my head, but yeah, so that's where I'm looking at right now. If I get another pod on Toxic Rain, that would be nice. Should be able to stack poison more, keep the Herald of Agony up more. Another ring, unset ring, would be good to be able to put the purity in there. Otherwise, I'm probably gonna have to get rid of Phase Run or Blank Arrow, one of the two, unfortunately. Once I upgrade this to 6 link, so alright, and that's all I got for now, so thanks.